Hello YouTube, welcome back from my stoep. It's the last day of the year, so this will be my last video for 2014. And I'm still busy continuing on my journey of who am I and all my interests and things that I like and that I do. So yeah, enjoying the afternoon after some woodworking and some gardening and all kinds of things before we go to our church for a service at 11:15, and then we go into the new year. Probably different than a lot of other people, but we like to go into the new year in the presence of our Lord. But in any case, back to my interests. So today I would like to share with you my interest for wine. And as you will remember from maybe from one of my previous ones, I said that a lot of my interests probably began because of exposure and curiosity. Now, this one is probably more from exposure, because my father loved red wine very much, or as he called it, osbloed, which is Afrikaans for ox blood, due to the color. So he loved red wine, and he started introducing me to red wine, and from there, it's kind of something that just grew and grew and grew. I started joining, or at university I joined a red wine tasting group, and we did blind tastings and tastings of different years and different cultivars and different origins or farms, and that whole exercise and that whole social companionship and communion with people around a bottle of wine and some nice tapas or something nice to eat was just a very nice feeling and nice thing for me. So that made me more and more interest in wine. Now, the South African wine industry began with probably I don't want to give myself out as a historian or a fundi on anything, but as far as I can remember from our history lessons, is that it began with the arrival of the French Huguenots, who were persecuted for their faith in France, Germany, Europe, Holland, and they then, in the 16th, 17th century, they fled to South Africa. So that was one source. The other source is that the Dutch East Indian Company, the Veer, started to make of Cape Town a halfway post for their route to India in the trade of spices. So obviously for them it was beneficial to start a community in Cape Town, and from there, as people arrived, they got farms and they started farming, especially with wines. Jacques Pinard, the Frenchman, my descendant, the first Pinard who came into South Africa, was a winemaker, and he got a farm and started winemaking in South Africa also. So from there it just grew, and yeah, South Africa is a very popular wine region, wine producing country. The difference between us and the French is that we make wines by cultivar. We also do blending, but I think we got our name from the wines by cultivar. With other words, we will make a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Shiraz or a Pinotage or a Merlot, while the French more concentrates on region, like a Bordeaux or a Rhone or something. But as I said, a lot of winemakers also do some Bordeaux blending and other blendings in South Africa, which are also very popular. I think arguably the oldest wine farm in South Africa is Groot Constantia, known because apparently Napoleon Bonaparte was very fond of Groot Constantia wines and only drank Groot Constantia wines, and to commemorate that, they now sell a dessert wine in an old box, resembling that old tradition of Napoleon ordering some wine while on Saint Helena, where he was captured and kept. Another famous or interesting story about South African winemaking is that the Pinotage cultivar was produced in the 1960s, or maybe some earlier, in South Africa. It is a blend between, or not a blend, but it's a cross variety of Pinot Noir and Cinsault, and we are popular for the Pinotage wine. At the beginning, it was only used as a blending wine, but lately it began very popular as a soft, earthy, but yet fruity, berry-like wine. Very nice. So yeah, I've done a lot of tastings and wine tours, and I stayed for 8 years in the Cape area, so obviously we were there available. And that's where my interest of wine and wine making comes from. I think the other reason also is that I do have I'm a bit of a nostalgic. I do like to go back to, you know, to things and how they were done by our grandparents and even older. I mean, we know that wine originated, you know, long ago, and we know from the Bible that it was there also quite a popular thing. But I do love going back to the roots and things, and to me, what's intriguing to me is how they, without technology and commercialization and industrialization, how they made wine in the old days, pure from the vineyards into casks, you know, without all the modern stuff. Not that the modern stuff is not bad, but you know, making good wine in the old days is probably much more difficult than doing it lately. But yeah, in my other videos I will come back more to that issue, because as I said, I do like the way our grandparents did things and how they lived, and how they lived from, you know, from what they produced and what's available there. So yeah, that's my interest in wine. And I will probably have a Cabernet Sauvignon any moment from now, while we will start my fire for a barbecue, and then we will have some braai before tonight's end of the year. Interesting, just as an afterthought quickly, it's already New Year in Australia, New Zealand, and we will have New Year, and then you guys in the US will still wait for a while. So maybe my video will be up already while we will already be in the New Year. In any case, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this this version, or this edition of Who Am I, number 4, I think, about my interest in wines. Thank you. Bye-bye.